All right, we're here with Megan. She works with me here at Voltage Salon, and so we're gonna cut her hair though today. So we're gonna do something. She wants to keep the length. She's liking the length, and but she does want to get some more texture and some more layers in there. We haven't cut your hair since it's been like months almost. I feel like it's been a while. So yeah, so we're gonna have some fun and cut her hair. So I'll show you guys a little bit behind the scenes of what we're doing on her today, and should be fun. Cool.
So like I said earlier in the video, it's been months since we've cut it. She has an undercut under here as well, which I'll show you in a few minutes, or in a few seconds here. So it's just flat. It's just out of shape. The ends need to be trimmed up for sure. So yeah, she wants a little attitude back in it.
Okay, so she has an undercut from her last bob that we gave her months ago, whatever it was. So what we're gonna have to do here is I'm gonna debate on if I actually want to fully connect it or still leave a little bit of disconnection. So I'm gonna see how that plays out with giving her a little bit of layers, because we don't want to go too crazy on the layers, but we do want to make it look cool and preserve the length. So we'll see what we do.
So here we're just bringing down the perimeter, tidying it up. We're not really taking much length off. I decided I'm really not going to connect to the undercut. It's still too wide of a gap to bring it back together. She just doesn't want that many layers in there right now. So we're going to let that undercut just hang out under there still for a little bit longer. But we're just tidying up the ends a little bit, grabbing some of the split ends, just some of the jagged edges, you know. So pretty easy here. And next we'll move into kind of some of the layering portion here and some texturizing. So we've got a little kind of square shaped section on top, left the bang section out, kind of that fringe section. Really liking the length we still have there in the front. So we want to maintain as much of that as possible. Okay, so we've got this section on top that I just showed you guys, this sort of square, or you could do a circle, but I did more of a square because I know that I'm going to leave this corner. It will come down and cover anything. Give me some weight here if I need it later. But what we're going to do is we're going to start in this bang section. Start in this bang section. That's where we're going to start our layers. And lightening it up, giving a little bit more of a textured vibe. It's just all very loud and kind of very one length almost. There's definitely a lot of there's some texture and some taper to those ends already in there, but we are going to obviously add more and create a little bit more of a layered lob feel, a shaggy lob feel, but without going too shaggy. So as we start here in the front, we are just going to start right off that middle part, kind of a middle part. She's a little bit off center, but we're going to lift it up. We're going to go conservative at first. We're just going to elevate about 90 degrees from the head and shift our finger position just a little bit. I'm just taking out that corner very conservatively right now. We'll drop it, see what that looks like. Lighten it up, definitely, but definitely need a little bit more layering in there. So we're going to lift it back up, and we are going to go quite a bit more aggressive. We're going to cut behind my fingers, actually, a very concave layer. She carries a lot of density in the front there, as you can tell. So we can do a lot of texturizing and lightening up in that area without really having to worry about creating any thin spots or gaps in the hair. So it's already lightening up a little bit more. We're just following that over to the parietal ridge. And then we're going to do the same thing. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side as well. But that's kind of a fun technique. I really love doing that technique. It's just kind of you can really see what you're doing. You can see that concave layer that you're creating. And it really creates a lot of movement down there. So we're just doing the same thing on the other side, bringing those sections up to the middle, and then creating that concave layer. Beautiful. All right, so we're left with that. And now we want to sort of carve out sort of a C shape. You can see those little layers hanging out there. Now we've dropped it down below the chin, carving out a little bit of a C shape here. Can't see from the camera angle, but just kind of taking out some of that hair there in the middle so that it can kind of round out around the chin. And then we're just lifting up and just cutting deep into it. You can see how thick her hair is there. And you see those little layers that we've created from the concave layer above, but now we're cutting lower. We're still leaving us some texture down there, leaving us a little bit of that perimeter. It's getting a nice little shape. And then later on in the video, we're actually going to go a little bit shorter because she looked in the mirror and said that she wanted to go a little shorter with that section. Okay, so we're gonna get started on the sides. I start over the ear, lifting it up. You can't see it, but I'm taking off the corner. I fix it on the next couple after this here. So we're just taking off the corner, softening the corner. You can see we're softening it down there, lightening it up. And we're lifting up again, just behind that section we just took. Taking off that corner with point cutting, and then do a little bit of internal layering there. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, just kind of lifting it up, softening the corner, and then slicing through. Do the same thing, kind of take off the corner, and do a little internal layering.
All right, so here's the top section. This is really where we're going to start creating really the more of the, I guess, the personality of the haircut here, and then we may go back to that fringe section a little bit more and deal with some of that again. But this is where we're going to start being a little bit more aggressive with some of the layering techniques, just to give her a little bit of something to play with. It'll give more shape to the haircut rather than everything just seeming one length. This will give us some shape. So what I'm going to do to start is actually start back here at the crown section to create the layers, some shorter layers. We're not going to go too short, but I do want to create some shape here. So we're going to pull everything kind of back to here, see how we feel, and then we can actually go back to the front and pull things forward to, again, really personalize the cut, personalize the layers how we want them, rather than just cutting everything square or everything's pulled forward. We can actually go a little bit back and forth on that to really get to the desired shape we're looking for this. So just getting a little unconventional.
All right, so we're just pulling all that hair back to the crown. So we have that kind of that square shaped section on top. Start at the back, pulling it back, and we are about 90 degrees. And we're just pulling it back again and just chopping into it a little deeper, kind of point cutting. I'm kind of taking length and point cutting as I go, so I can really see how that's looking as we go. Taking off just about maybe 1.5 inches of hair, not too much, but just making sure we've got a nice little jagged edge there. But you can see it's still got a nice little straight across shape. It's just a jagged straight line. Then we're just going to cut in a little bit deeper, about 2 inches there. And get those nice textured ends. And then we've finished the top section, and now we're going back to the front, and I'm going to carve out some more hair here because she said she wouldn't mind going a little shorter with some of those pieces. And so we're just going to carve through. I'm using a 7-inch dry cutting scissor made by Tiger Steel Scissors. And we're just kind of, again, kind of freehanding, kind of freestyle style here. So this is definitely a little bit more advanced, but it's a fun way to cut. And now we've kind of taken that whole section forward. We're going to deep point cut into it. Like I said, she has a ton of hair there, so you really can kind of hack at it for days and it still feels thick. So now we're pulling forward and just taking little corners off and sliding through, just lightening up the texture even more. This is really just my favorite part of the cut. It's just personalizing, removing texture where I need to create the shape and that desired texture we're looking for. And then you can see in this next clip here, we've just kind of got that nice little shape going around the face, but it's not like too framed. It's not too, it's a very loosely carved shape. It's not too structured. So here we are styling her out. We decided to put a little wave in there. You can see it's got that nice just kind of kick to those layers around the face, but it's not too layered. It's not a shag. And she's loving it.
All right, so we're all done with Megan here. I'm gonna scooch this up a little bit. All right, and so what we did was I kind of worked my way to this front section. I left some length there for a while, and then she kept looking in the mirror, and she'd be like, you know what, you can go a little shorter with it. So we ended up going even shorter. Kind of not quite a curtain bang but definitely like some real like layers around there that are hitting down by her cheek, really down by her jaw, almost into her cheekbone level. So this is a really kind of a cool way to cut a shaggy lob. It's like, it's not quite a shag, it's not, I mean, it's a lob for sure, but it's definitely not quite a shag. So that's kind of like where I like to like mix those terms together. Because sometimes people come tell you they want a shag. Or a lob. A schlob. Yeah, a schlob. That's a great word for it. We'll try to coin that. A schlob. But you know, it's that delicate balance between saying, do they want that lob look, which to me, a lob is definitely more, it's like a little bit like looser, it's a little bit of that longer shape still, whereas a shag is definitely more of that, like you've got to have that bang to me to have to more of a shag haircut, don't you think, Megan?
Yeah.
Like for me to tell someone they want a shag, you have to have a bang. It's all about that front and that base frame, whereas this just gives you a little bit essence of that looser, shaggier lob look, and kind of gives you some little bit of excitement every day when you style it. So, yeah, cool. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.
She's got some attitude back. You feeling good with that?
Yes.
Yes. Love it. Looks good, girl.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, hit that like button and subscribe so you get more notifications when I post. And you can always find me on thebobcompany.com and inside Bob University, which is where I host all of my online full tutorials.